So, it is the night before my wedding, and I'm a young man freaking out. I contact my soon-to-be bride, and I make her promise me once again that we are not going to tie each other down. We are not going to stagnate and settle. We are going to continue to support one another in our dreams. And for me at the time, that dream was particularly to continue to travel the world and to meet its amazing people. She's down for it. In the fairly conservative circles of Southern California in which she and I were raised, when you tell people you're a young married couple about to head off to Africa for a year, you get one of three responses. The first is, why? The second is, you're so brave. And the third is, oh, are you going on a mission? We were the opposite of missionaries. We were not going to Africa to impose our beliefs and cultural ideas on someone else. We were going to challenge our beliefs and cultural ideas. We were going to learn. So, flash forward a month. We're a month in. We've been living in Zanzibar off the coast of Tanzania. It's been going just as we thought. We're having our worlds rocked at every moment. We're studying Kiswahili at the Institute. We've got this amazing homestay with this incredibly impoverished and incredibly generous and welcoming family that is caring for us. It's all going to plan except for our stomachs. We had not monitored our intake in the way that we needed to, and we were both paying for it big time. My wife, Angela, got really sick, like to the point that one day she took the last pill of her 10-day course of a really strong antibiotic that should have knocked everything out by the end of the fourth day, and she could barely walk. Time to see a doctor. So there was one doctor on the island that we knew of, Dr. Mauro. He was this sort of 3-day growth, perennial hungover Italian expat in exile somehow down there. And we knew that around 5-ish, he was going to head out and have drinks. It was 4:45 on a Friday. I put Angela on my back, and I carried her towards Dr. Mauro's office. He was leaving, but we caught him. So he turned around very kindly. We went in. She laid on the examination table. He poked her stomach once, and I will never forget his immortal words. They were, and I quote, "Oh, shit. You're going to Nairobi now." Within 2 hours, I had gone back, gathered all of our things, tried to explain to our very concerned host family why we had to go. We had arranged an emergency medical evacuation flight from the Zanzibar airport. Not much of an airport, it was really just a grass field. We were in a 3-seater, single-engine plane, and the pilot turns to us and yells over the roar of the engine, "We don't have enough fuel to make it to Nairobi. With our emergency tanks, we should be able to make it to Kilimanjaro. We'll try to refuel there." We bump across the airstrip and out across the Indian Ocean. Somewhere over Tanzania, these enormous thunder clouds that I had been watching for a long time have grown so big that the pilot finally turns and yells again, "There's no way." And he turns and starts to take us 20, 50, 100 miles off course. But we make it, we refuel, we make it to Nairobi Hospital. We're checking in, and I'm in the waiting room of Nairobi Hospital, and I recognize it, because I'd read the book, The Hot Zone, by Robert Preston, about the Ebola outbreak. And this was the waiting room in which the first documented Ebola victim had crashed and bled out on this floor. I don't tell my wife this. Finally, we get checked into a room, and they wheel her away for emergency surgery. It's the next day by now, and for the first time, I'm alone. I'm alone in this room on the other side of the world, in the middle of Africa, at the height of the AIDS epidemic, in the Ebola hospital, and they've just taken the one person that I love the most to cut her open. And all I can think is this was my idea. It was my dream that brought us here. And I'm going to lose her. I'm going to lose her here. And if I don't, she's never going to travel with me again. They said it would be about a 2-hour surgery. 5 hours later, we were finally reunited in that room. And I will forever be grateful not only for the expertise and smooth hand of that surgeon, Mr. Mogeri, the Kenyan surgeon who saved my wife, but almost as much for the comforting tone of his voice, because he explained to us it was really quite remarkable, the way that the antibiotic had encapsulated the infection from her ruptured appendix and spared her. She survived, and I'm happy to say we had, after a long recovery, 6 weeks more of exploring the glorious people and cultures of East Africa. Since then, we've had nearly 20 years doing the same throughout the world. And far from tying each other down, that experience tied us together.